Got to look good for the camera. That's no better. I'd put on a hat. Here we go. Good evening is the frequency in use. Yeah, that was a slow start, wasn't it? My name is Paul, K4PEW, net control of the Mount Juliet Simplex radio net. Is there any emergency or priority traffic? Nothing heard. If there is an emergency, just jump in there, but call 911 first. That's the best advice I can probably give you. You get a good service, at least in, I know they do in Wilson County. I'm not sure about the other counties, but I'm pretty sure they're pretty good. Net may be broken at any time for emergency traffic. For information on this site, on this net, you can reach us on right there on YouTube, which is on under my call, Kilo for Papa Echo Whiskey, or on using Brain Trusts is the channel, BRAINTRUSTS. Or you can look us up on the web, which is 146415.net. Or you can look us up on the web on Yahoo Groups, which is MJ_SS. That's Mike Juliet _Sierra Sierra. Or you can send me an email, Kilo for Papa Echo Whiskey at ARRL.net. We normally meet at 8 p.m. every Wednesday and Saturday night. We conduct a net on, as always, on 146.415 FM Simplex, which you probably already knew. The purpose of the net is to support and train ham radio operators to have fun on Simplex, which I think we've done a fantastic job. Everybody's been participating very well. We're averaging in the mid-20s every week, and I don't know of another net anywhere that does that on Simplex. We invite everyone to use the net to announce amateur radio events, activities, and etc. in support of the local community. We got to do the announcements first. Somebody can add other stuff, but coming up on 9/25, I looked it up today to be sure. 9/25. We started the first net was 9/24, but that's a Tuesday, and I don't want to do it on a Tuesday. So we got a 5-year anniversary coming up, and that's on September 25th, 2019. I don't know that it's we're gonna have a public holiday or anything, but it's just a nice landmark for 5 years of doing these things. Also, we've got Saturday's breakfast. Saturday, that's this Saturday. That's in 3 days, which will be on the 10th. The 10th of August, we have a breakfast, and that's at Courtney's, of course. And Courtney's at 4066 North Mount Juliet Road, which is just a quarter mile south of Lebanon Road on the west side. Or just look it up on GPS. Also, we got the Huntsville Ham Fest is a week from Saturday. They scheduled it, of course, to avoid our breakfast, I'm sure. And then, of course, the Cedars of Lebanon Ham Fest, which is on the 24th. And they made the mistake of having it on the same day as our breakfast, but whatever. And I think that's all I have, other than tomorrow night's Wilson County Aries information net on their repeater, which is 147.105. And it's a plus offset in a 156.7 PL. So, do you have any questions on those announcements or have any additional announcements? Nothing heard. This is number 507, and we'll be starting from the west tonight. Go west, young man. All right, let's go ahead. We'll start from the west. It's K4PEW with the Mount Juliet Simplex Net, taking all stations from the west.
KN4 TJF.
Hey, all right, coming to the breakfast Saturday?
No, unfortunately, I will not be able to attend this Saturday. I have another engagement, but I'll be at the next one.
All right, boy, you're going to miss the big prizes.
I know it, Paul. I'm sick over it, but you know how it goes.
Yeah, very good. Signal looks pretty good tonight.
Thank you. I think, man, the weather, I don't know what's going on, man. I've been getting out there pretty good and hearing people I don't normally hear, so maybe it'll keep it up.
Well, see what's happening is your antenna's getting some age and maturity, and it's working better.
I'll have wisdom, I get it. Yeah, the last net, oh, I actually heard 7. I usually average 2 to 3 at most. I had 7 last net, and I was pretty proud of that.
Oh yeah, well again, conditions are well your antenna and conditions. I mean, obviously, I mean I have troubles right over here from a lot of times from Earl down here in the southeast portion of this county, and some days it's horrible and some days it's perfect. Well near perfect. It's just that we've got some land issues between terrain issues that really give us problems, but not a big deal. But do you have you in there, Rick? That's Kilo November 4 Tango Juliet Foxtrot, and he's over in Ashland City. Who else we got west?
KM4YRF.
Okay, you got the same excuse you're going out with Rick?
No, I'm not. I'll be there.
Okay, we don't care about him, man.
I'm going to be a few minutes late, though. I have to get a haircut on the way.
Oh, that's right. You got your regular haircut appointment is that every month?
Oh, yeah.
I'll be glad you got here.
I am. I'm really glad.
Yeah, I think I told you my brother, who was like my dad, he was mostly bald by the time he was about 35 or 40. And so every time I see him, I can see him looking at my forehead, just to check.
I bet that made you feel good, didn't it?
Well, again, it's just, it's not any accomplishment on my part, and he didn't do anything wrong. It's just he got the luck of the draw with the bald head before he was even 40 years old.
Yeah, my father had male pattern baldness, and so I guess I take after my grandfather on my mother's side because he had a full head of hair until the day he died.
Oh wow. Yeah, I had my mother's father was bald. My father's father was bald. My father was bald. And here I have mostly a head of hair. I'm, at 70, so I don't think I'm going to go bald soon. I might, but who knows?
I think you'll make it.
Yeah, it's I have several relatives on my male relatives on my mother's side, on my mother's side, and in fact, on the father's side, they were all gray. They were gray into their 80s. So I don't know. We'll see. Has nothing to do with good or bad. It's just even if I went bald, I reconciled myself a long time ago with the fact that I'd live with it. I don't want to wear a hat 24 hours a day.
Yeah, I hear that. I sent Mary a text a little while ago and told her, remind her about the net. I'm not sure if she'll be up to checking in tonight, but she is home and doing okay.
All righty. I will look forward to seeing her here if she's here. That'd be great. All right, good night, good enough, Michael. That's Kilo Mike 4, Yankee Romeo Foxtrot, and he's going to be at the breakfast. So good to have you in there, Michael. Michael's in Belshire. Who else west? Anybody else west? Nothing heard. We're going to move down to the south then, south of Mount Juliet, south of I-40. Please come
Kilo.
Okay, one more time on the kilo.
Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor.
What made you stop?
I had another radio on and I was getting some feedback. It was pretty loud.
Oh yeah, I can't say I've never done that, Larry. Ever. I've never done that. Well, I did about twice today, I think.
Yes, I had to stop right quick, turn this other radio down.
Yeah, I could hear you fine, but you were probably getting blasted on your end.
Oh yeah, it was real bad. I'll let you get on with it, Paul. Hope to see everybody over there Saturday for breakfast.
Okay, that'd be great, Larry. Good to hear you on the air. Good signal as always, and hope to see you on Saturday. That was Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor, and he's in Rockville. And that's Larry. Who else? So what, South?
November Yankee.
Hold on, Bill. I had David beat you to the punch. Hold on one second. What's up, David?
Well, good evening, Mr. Paul. That Larry knows how to break a pile up. That's for sure. How's everything going?
It's going good. You're on my schedule for next Tuesday as well.
All right, sounds good. Certainly appreciate everything you do there, Russ.
Oh, yeah. Well, somebody's got to do it.
You got that right. Well, hey, listen, carry on. Have a good one. Good evening, everybody on that. This is KI4NDN.
So you should have been a quarterback, man, because you were scrambling last night. Oh, I do. You again, you've got to be able to do that stuff on the fly, because I assure you, in an emergency, nothing's going to go well.
Yeah, I have 10 little items that jumped up that, were not pre-planned,
Oh no, that's the perfect kind of drill stuff that comes up that you didn't. Oh boy, now we got to do something new. All right, very good, David. That was David. He does he's the net control for the Rutherford County Simplex Aries net on the first Tuesday of the month, and it's had some good participation and it's had some good tests, and it's not your typical net because we were passing traffic last night and all kinds of neat stuff. Anyway, Bill, I heard you in there. Cam for November Yankee.
Yeah, well, after David and all, they say all the important things. But it was interesting last night what all took place, and we do appreciate your help in that at all the time.
Oh yeah, well you were in there too. It's funny that you noticed there was some people who obviously, well, I must say obviously, they couldn't participate, and that's the kind of stuff, especially on Simplex, that pushes them to get, if they can, get a better antenna or a higher antenna or whatever.
Well, that's what this is all about.
Yeah, very good. You sound good tonight, Bill, and you sounded good last night. That's Kilo Mike 4 November Yankee, and he is in Murfreesboro. Who else we got south? Good to have you in there, Bill.
K1SP.
Hello, Scott. You were in there too last night.
Yes, I was, but I had to bail out.
Well, those things happen. Those are the changing tides of emergency communications. Not everybody can be available every time.
Very true. My son picked up another. He finally sold that Jupiter, so it's gone along with the key. And he picked up a Yaesu FTDX 1200. And he's got that set up now, and I strung up my long wire today, got it back up in the air, and he and I had two good QSOs, one on 40 meter and one on 60 meter this evening.
Oh, actually, what is that, a used model? Because I'm not familiar with that model number on the Yaesu.
Yeah, it's used. It's 163 6 meter. Exactly what he was looking for, but just something to play with for a while.
I understand. What was it? An FT what? I want to look that one up.
FTDX 1200. Yaesu.
Yeah, that sounds really fancy when you have all them letters in there with DX in them.
Yeah, it's a nice looking radio, and audio on it's real good. And he sent me a couple of videos already of other nets that he was listening to tonight. But no, it sounds real well.
Yeah, that's great. It's funny, but the more expensive the radio, the more expensive the matching speakers.
Hey, and that's true. Good thing I'm using a little Radio Shack one with this icon.
I'm using an old bookshelf computer speaker.
Yeah, there you go. And back to people getting better antennas or more height or more output power. Hey, all it is money, right?
Well, yeah, it is. It's a lot of times it is a fair amount of money. In my case, I spent enough. But the hard part sometimes is getting it up higher, and that's the secret to. You're halfway there if you can get the height even on a lesser good antenna.
Yep. All right. Don't want to drag it out. Here, most everybody didn't hear the Ashland City station. I swung the beam to him also, but I don't think I swung it fast enough. But here's everybody else. K1SP.
All right, very good. That was Scott. He sold that 10 Tech Jupiter, or his son did, I should say. And so I'm sure he's happy about that. And he got a replacement radio to boot. That was Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta Scott, and he is in Laverne. Who else south? Anybody else south, please come in. Wow, Slim Pickens must be sleeping. Who's east? East of Montreal.
WA4's NHI.
Hey, James. You weren't here last night, were you?
No, I think I got here right here about 8 o'clock, and I was tired from doing some kind of work, and I just skipped it.
So some kind of work for me is just going over to Walmart.
That's a lot of work.
I was running errands the other day, and I went to 4 places, and I said, man, I got to take a nap.
It does break the boredom, though.
Oh yeah. Well, I can't say I'm bored too easily. I get bored if it's always the same old crap. Yeah, you're right. You doing all right, James?
Well, except for my ailments, I'm still ailing from.
Yeah. It's like I tell myself, I just got to get used to them.
Yep, you got it.
All right, very good. I didn't think I'd get used to the arthritis, but I've gotten used to it. Well, very good. That was James right here in the heart of Mount Juliet, Whiskey Alpha 4 Zulu Hotel India. Who is next east of Mount Juliet? Your signal's a little light tonight. What are you doing? Well, you're killing me. I got to raise my volume here so people can hear you.
Maybe I need to turn the deviation up.
Yeah, I turned it up here, but now you're going to probably blast me out.
All right. Well, thanks for doing the net. And it's good to see everybody at the Ham Quest. And I'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, obviously I don't mind doing the net since this is number whatever said it was, number 507th, and you did a few of them, and Kevin did a few, but it's still, I can't believe it's 507. We'll be up to, I think, 520 on the, I think that's what I counted, on the 5th anniversary, which is, maybe I'll retire on the 5th. No, I don't think so. Unless somebody wants it. I'll be happy to lend it to somebody else for a while. Anyway, good to have you in there, Eddie. That was Whiskey 4 Echo Bravo X-Ray. He is over here in Gladeville, just a little bit east of Mount Juliet, south of 40. Who else south east? Please come in. Well, I heard Romeo Victor Quebec, and that's Brent. And you're mobile. Where are you mobile, Brent? Yeah, I didn't catch any of that, but I heard the mobile part, and I heard you call. Oh, you're welcome to jump in later if you get closer, but you're in a terrible spot right now. Try it one more time. Got nothing. Well, that was Brent. He's mobile. I don't know where. Kilo Echo 4, Romeo Victor Quebec. He's mobile somewhere and unable to talk. I hope he's okay. But he's able to talk. I just can't hear him. All right, who else? East, please come. Anybody else east?
Okay,
No, go ahead.
I had to turn the radio down. I was doing like the other fellow over there. I had a little bit of feedback. Well, what's going on, Paul?
Hey, man, you didn't come over to help me, man. I didn't tell you, though, but I had to tear my, you know how you take the back off a toilet tank and put new everything in it? That's what I do.
Well, it ain't that hard. You didn't over tighten it, I see.
No, I made that mistake one time, and I never did make it again.
Yeah, it can make a big mess, that's for sure. Yeah, I didn't do too much today. Son took me over to the range, and we shot off a few rounds over there and had a good time. And it's hot in that place, man. I tell you what, it's hot. But other than that, man, shoot, didn't do too much. Just a little bit of stuff around the house here. Other than that, I guess we was hell, I hadn't done too much of that. I can't even speak of anything I've done. Back to you, Paul.
Yeah, I got you. Well, see, that's if you don't do anything, nobody notices if you did anything or not. It's just like that toilet. I got it all put back together, cleaned up after myself, and see, you can't even. The only, you know, if somebody walks in the house and you go, "Hey, check out my toilet," they go, "Yeah, what about it?"
Looks like a toilet.
Yeah, there's no bright. It's not like you painted it, or it's not like it's one of those $400 or $500 toilets. It's those low boys with the silent flush on them. It's not that. It's just a toilet.
There you go. Well, you didn't put no expensive gold on it, gold leaf it or anything. So, yeah, you just got an ordinary toilet. What you want me to come look at your toilet for?
I met a guy one time, and I'm sure there's lots of others. It didn't come up on the subject of conversation, and it was a Yeah, he was a wealthy guy. Obviously, he had a place. I think he had 6 toilets or 7. 7 bathrooms in his house, his brand new house. Very, obviously it was a high end house, and I think he said he spent close to, I don't remember, $1,000 each because they were the really, really, really expensive ones. I don't know why they were that expensive. Because I just remember thinking, well, that's about half as much as I paid for my whole house. Well, before my first house.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, imagine you got 6, 7 bathrooms in your house. That's not a house. That's a mansion. That sounds like a big old place.
Yeah, well, you know the deal. The more you got, the more it takes to upkeep, and you got to have, especially a guy who's an executive, and they don't know how to do any of that stuff, so they don't have the time. It's not too many, high-level surgeons that are out fixing their own toilets.
Oh no. But no means that you're gonna mess with their hands and stick them in a toilet. They're too expensive. They probably have them insured and everything. If I was a surgeon, I would. I'd have my hands insured. Well, it'd be like Tina Turner with her legs insured. So I get my hands insured. All right, well, let me get off the radio and quit pulling on you here. I'll let you get back with the net there, Paul. You take care, and we'll talk to you here in a little bit. Oh, by the way, I caught you last night on the that net that you was calling. I saw your picture on the YouTube. I was watching videos. I happened to see you was live, and I thought, like, what's going on here? Did I miss a net? And for sure, it was. I saw you on there. I was doggone. I didn't even know it was there. If I did, I didn't remember.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we do. I help with that Rutherford County net, the Aries net, Simplex, and it's a good group. They do a lot of good stuff. Theirs is a little more serious than ours, a lot more serious than ours. Ours is real casual, as everybody knows. By the way, I think everybody got that email, but if you didn't, if you're not on the email list, I was pointing out that if you do a search on YouTube, just for the simple term Simplex Net, about 90% of the results you get are us. It's amazing, really. Simplex Net, and you get nothing but our net because there's almost nobody who does these nets. I can't believe it. Anyway, who else we got? That was Kevin, by the way. Kilo Golf 4 Mike India Zulu. He's just a little bit west of downtown Lebanon. Who else we got east? Please come in.
KI4 ZDC Adam 11. K4 RBQ Paul. Let's try it again.
All right, very good. Hold on, Adam. We got the hard to hear over there. You still mobile, Brent?
Yeah, I'm going to be mobile for a little bit.
Okay, very good. No, I just want to make sure you were there. You were really breaking up, but I did. In fact, all I caught on your first transmission was barely heard the RVQ, and I recognized your voice.
Yeah, I'm over here by West Elementary now, so I should be coming in a little bit better.
Oh yeah, you're doing great. Before it was horrible.
Yeah, I just started down that hill when I hollered.
Okay, very good. You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic.
Well, that's good. These are your off days, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I work for the fire department all day, so yeah, I just got done with our amateur radio thing up at Lima, and I'm just headed back and grab a pizza and go home.
We'll bring that pizza over here. I'll help you finish it.
I hear you.
Yeah, very good. I just had pizza not last night, but 2 nights ago. I had stuffed myself. It was really good. All right, very good. Good to have you in there, Brent. I'm glad we finally got to talk there. We had Adam, Kilo India 4 Zulu Delta Charlie. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, Paul. I am mobile as well. How are you doing tonight, buddy?
Well, I recovered from fixing the toilet, if that says anything about my day.
Well, at least you're recovering from it.
Well, also, I did one other task. I actually had to go out. I couldn't remember if I ever had a grease gun. I had to go out and buy one so I could hit the Zerk fittings on my lawn tractor.
Well, I mean, that's good. Now you'll find the other one, so you'll have 2.
Yeah, I know. I'm not even sure if I knew I thought I used to have one, but I don't know. I've moved a couple of times since I had that, so I don't know where. But anyway, it's just funny how there's every time you own more stuff, like I've said before, you got to do more stuff to it, the maintenance and repair stuff. So it's always something.
That is true. I understand completely. All right, I'm going to clear here. I'm going to drop down that hole here.
All right, very good. That was Adam, Kilo India 4 Zulu Delta Charlie, his mobile. I'm just saying radios don't need lubricating. We'd have to take them all apart to put the grease in them, or let the smoke out, or both. Who else? Where was I? North, please come. Got nothing. Let's see. We started with West. We're finishing with North, and now we're taking late check-ins. Who, please come now.
I think you skipped East, didn't you?
No, I mentioned East. You must have missed it. James checked in on East. Who else is East? Now go ahead, East. Who is that? Hello, hello. Somebody just talked to me. Who was it?
That's WB0NOO. I'm North. I'm confused.
That's all right. It's like I think we were all born confused. No, you just must have missed North and West or whatever, because we started with West, and I ended up I went around. So how you doing, Mark?
I'm doing good. Doing a good job of driving myself crazy. When we were doing all of our construction, I bought 2 little boxes of toggle bolts, and now I need one. And I have looked from one end of this house to the other, and I cannot find them. And I remember seeing them, but I don't remember where I put them.
That's the story of my life in this house. It's cheaper and easier just to go get another one from Lowe's or Home Depot.
Yeah, you're right. It's not the buying them that's the problem. It's the trip. It's just such a pain in the butt to go do it when you know they're here somewhere. And as soon as I go get another box of them, you know what's going to happen, don't you?
Oh, no question about it. I spent one time the better part of, I don't know how much it was. I want to say an hour. I was looking for something. I said, I know I put whatever that tool was. I don't remember what it was. I said, or maybe it was my drill motor. I don't recall. I said, I'll be a son of a gun. It's not where I normally put it. It's not in my tool bag. It's not in the car. It's not on the shelf. It's not. I said, I'll be a son of a gun. And darned if I didn't find it exactly where I left it, inside another toolbox.
Oh, yeah, that's the story of my life, too. Anyway, I guess I'll make a quick trip to Lowe's or Home Depot tomorrow and re-up on the toggle bolts. And, you know, if you need 4, you usually can find 3. So I probably do have 3 laying around here somewhere.
Yeah, I got a toggle bolt story for you. This guy, he wasn't used to those kinds of fasteners. He was left with the job of installing some paper towel dispensers in the surgical suite when I worked at a hospital. And the following day or days after he did that, we had to go back and redo all of them because he put the toggles on the reverse way. So as soon as somebody gave it any pull, it just pulled right out of the wall.
Yeah. Well, you know, some people have to have a class for everything they do.
Well, ignorance it's really funny. If you didn't know, you don't know. I mean, it's one of those, that seems like a pretty simple one. And you'd think, well, it's not holding well. You'd notice that, but he didn't notice. I don't know. All right. Very good, Mark. Good to have you in there. I hope you find the toggle bolts you need. That's Whiskey Bravo 0 November Oscar, and he's over in Hermitage. Who else we got? Anybody else, East or North?
Quebec.
See you again on Quebec. Are you back again, Brent? Who's Quebec?
Whiskey 9 Bravo Oscar, Quebec. What's the matter?
What's the matter for you? What I didn't hear was the first part of your call. I heard the Quebec, and I thought it was Brent, whose call also ends in Quebec, and I just talked to him a minute ago.
Oh, I've been working on my audio all day, and not all day, for a couple hours, looking at all the different options of my radio, and I'm trying to get my audio to sound better. And then you come back and say, I can't hear you.
No. I couldn't hear you because I doubled with you partially. But no, your audio actually sounds very clean and clear right now.
Good, yeah. I'm a musician and I used to sing. I still sing backup. When you're on stage, the soundman would always tell you, eat that microphone, eat it, get right on it. Well, I had that habit here too. So I have to learn to stay off like this.
Well, I'm gathering, since I'm not a microphone expert, that it depends upon the mic, because you get some of those studio mics, man, they're so sensitive. They're going to hear your teeth knocking up against your gums, you know?
Well, like SM57
PR7s, they have the proximity effect. So the closer you get to them, the more bass there is.
Didn't know that. Not that I know that anyway, but yeah, I just know that this mic I have right here, the one you see on the web here, that PR77, I think it is by Heil. It okay, there was an alarm in my phone. This mic works very well the way I have it set up, but I don't want to get too far away from it. I'm about 2 or 3 fingers away on a good day.
Now you're on that other radio now, right?
Well, right now, yeah, I've been on for the net. I've been on that 850, the 857 or the 897D radio.
Your audio sounds less bassy than I've ever noticed it before.
I was just verifying my settings on my mic preamp, but I don't know. I can't imagine. It's possible you didn't notice before, but I'll have to check on the mic sensitivity and that kind of stuff in the radio itself, because the settings may be different than we're on the other radio.
Oh, we doubled. Oh.
All right. No, I said the settings on this radio, which is also the same model, essentially. It has the same, the same menu items exactly. They're a duplicate of the other radio, so I'll have to check and see what I have those settings on.
I could be wrong, but it always seemed like you were right in my face, and now it doesn't seem that way. But anyway, I just got done eating. That's why I missed the first part of the net. So I will catch up with the late check-ins. Back to net, W9BOQ.
Yeah, very good. That was Dennis, Whiskey 9, Bravo, Oscar, Quebec, with a little microphone technical talk. And he's in Castellian Springs. Great signal, good audio. You sound real good, Dennis. Appreciate you checking in spite of eating a good dinner. Could have went right to bed. Anybody else late check-in? Please come now.
WE4E.
Hello, Danny. Haven't heard from you in a net or so.
Yeah, it's been a little while. Something always seems to intercede and preclude me from participating. And it usually intercedes somewhere around 10 minutes to 8.
Yeah, that's right. I'm with you. Fortunately, well, you've got the problem, so to speak. It's not a problem, but you've got the issue of having children at home or child. You have just one at home?
Well, about 1.5. My older daughter has an apartment, but she hangs out at home a lot. She's only been gone a month. And the other one's, 16 and is around a lot. So yeah, I end up wrapped up into something with them. And all things being equal, I guess I kind of have the rest of my life to be on the net. I'm not going to turn down a chance to go have dinner with my daughter or do something like that. So a lot of times it unfortunately becomes secondary.
Oh yeah, no, I understand. But that's exactly one of the reasons why I decided I do 2 nets a week, so it gives people lots of opportunities to jump in there when they're able.
Oh, exactly. If you didn't do that, I wouldn't be able to miss 2 nets a week.
That's right. That's what I've always said from the beginning. We're the only net I know of that gives hams 2 opportunities a week to miss the net.
Yep, absolutely. So tonight a little different. I'm reporting live from a hotel room in Pittsburgh. I'm operating remote tonight, so nobody to come up to me 10 minutes to 8, 10 minutes to 9 in my case up here. So anyway, pleased to be able to join you, even if by long distance.
Well, I tell you what, I would have never guessed, because doesn't seem to be a delay, doesn't seem to be any issues whatsoever on that remote operation.
Well, I'm still getting the bugs worked out of it, and still getting the hang of the timing of everything and whatever. But so far so good. The serial tunnel that I use for control seems to be pretty quick, although I want to try to improve that. And the codec that I use to transport the audio is a very, very low latency codec, and that helps. And it's full bandwidth. Not that I need it, but it pays dividends. And I mean, I'm sitting here listening on a little Bluetooth speaker, and it doesn't sound fundamentally different from my speaker out in the shack. Although that thing's about it's like a 4 or 4.5 inch, just a little cube desktop, bookshelf speaker, whatever. But yeah, so far so good. It seems to be behaving itself pretty well. I'm actually remarkably happy with it.
Yeah, that's a far cry from what we used to do some years ago. I'm starting to maybe show my age, but we used to do security lines for banks over leased lines. And that was the most awful system on the planet.
Oh yeah, and I remember back in the day as well buying dry pair from the phone company, and doing basically a remote. I hate to call it remote base. It really isn't. It is, but it isn't. Where you have a control surface basically, and you're directly keying the transmitter and the repeater from an operator's console. I spent quite a few times setting those up and also mothering after them after a while because they did take a bit of finagling to keep running.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I was. When I said lease lines, it was always from the phone company. And what was always amazing is the phone company, no matter when we had problems, they were never their fault. It was an amazing thing. They were perfect.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And then, of course, it would all of a sudden just miraculously start working, and nobody had, I don't know what happened. It just it's fine when we checked it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, very good, Danny. I think I heard Robin in there. He was doubling over. I don't think he could hear. He must be mobile as well. Well, he's not. You're not mobile, but he must be mobile. Oh, good to have you in there, Danny. That's the first time I've heard you, I think, on the remote base, and it sounds fantastic. It really does. You can obviously you can hear it on the web if you want to, or if you haven't already. So it was Danny, and he's up in, where was it, Pittsburgh?
Yes, beautiful downtown Harmerville if you're scoring at home. But yes, remote from a hotel in Greater Extended Metro Pittsburgh.
Fantastic. All righty, very good. That was Danny, and he's in Pittsburgh tonight on a remote base, operating his radio at his house in Hendersonville, and that's Whiskey Echo 4 Echo. Did I hear Robin in there?
Hey there, Danny. You're S3 in Las Casas from Pittsburgh, old man. QFL.
Yeah, Robin, I can hear you. I can tell you're in there, but I couldn't copy your last. I apologize.
Oh, ask Danny if he remembers QCOM.
Okay, wants to know Danny, if you remember QCOM.
Oh yeah, very well. Yes, I sure do.
He says yes.
Yeah, I heard him. That was a device that we built up when Danny and I worked at CNN for remote operation of the intercom system in the studio. Anyway, carry on with the net. Glad to hear you got the remote base working. K4IDC mobile.
Yeah, his remote base sounds fantastic. Of course, it would. What I was surprised at is how well it sounded. Not because he normally sounds fine from his home in Hendersonville, and technically that's where the audio is coming from. But I'm amazed that it's so clear and concise, precise over those leased lines, over the internet, obviously.
Yeah, it's a voice.
Yep. No, I got you. It sounds better than any Echo link I ever heard.
Echo.
Very good. All right, Robin, where are you at? That's your mobile.
Las Casas.
Aha. All right, very good. That's Robin, Kilo 4 India Delta Charlie. He's mobile in Las Casas on a late check-in. Anybody else late? Check in, please come down.
KR4AZ.
Hello, Tim. How you doing this evening?
All right, Paul. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I couldn't get much better, really. I mean, I'm healthy, and, well, I'll leave out the wealthy part. And I'll leave out the wise part, too.
Watch out now.
Well, you know that line, healthy, wealthy, and wise. I was just leaving out the second two.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I was looking at the time here, and I first turned the radio on. You're still on north and east, and I thought, well, I got in before he called south. And then I hear you calling late, and I thought, man, he must have went through them quick.
Well, we did. There was a very few on a couple of those the first time around, due to whatever reason. I don't know. Doesn't need a reason. It's, if people are checking in, they're checking in. Doesn't matter when or how.
Yeah, I wasn't right at straight up 8 o'clock. So it was whenever you're still on the north and the east, I was headed on. I was waiting for the south. So you must have already done it right on the front end. So anyway, everything good on this end. Just had the antennas unhooked from last night. So I hooked the 2 meter back up. Didn't fool with HFs, a little bit more wires, coax. So supposed to get some more rain tomorrow. So I might leave it undone and just have this one that unhooked it comes back through. So anyway, you're sounding good. Everybody sounding good. And I'll turn it back over to you. You have a good rest of the evening. Everybody have a good night. KR4AZ.
Yeah, very good, Tim. Sound good. Sound good signal. Glad to hear you're doing well. That was Kilo Romeo 4 Alpha Zulu, and that's Tim in Murfreesboro. Who else? Anybody else late checking?
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Hey, Stan, you waited till almost the very last. How you doing?
Doing pretty well, Paul. I bet so.
I don't know. I was, you're a big HF guy, and I was just reading today that NASA was talking about don't expect months from solar cycle number 25.
Yeah, I think it's one of the lowest ones ever, maybe.
Well, you know what they say. If it was easy, one of the 57 genders and kids be doing it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna ever make challenge that keeps up like this.
Well, let's hope we both live long enough that it gets better.
Yeah, hopefully so. I'm a little bit over 700. Still kind of a long ways to go.
Now that's 700 what now?
700 credits towards the 1,000 needed for challenge.
Okay, very good. And that's 7,000. I'm sorry, 700. 700 just calls, different calls.
No, what you have all of the DXCC entities, and you have to work them on multiple bands, and every band that you work them on counts as a single credit.
Okay, very good. I didn't realize I have never talked about that or read that. I see what you're saying is you have to work. So there's about what now? 300 and what entities?
340 something, I think.
Okay, so it's all bands, so you could easily work up to over 1,000 to get that. I mean, to reach all of those on all the bands or on specific bands.
Yeah, I think altogether there's over 3,000 points that you can get total.
Okay, so obviously the first marker would be 1,000. I know that one DX club I was in up in the Buffalo area. It was a serious DX club. Let me tell you, they could have cared less if they ever got on VHF, UHF, or anything, like that, or repeaters for that matter. And they had the one day I was there when I was might have been first couple of meetings I went to. One of the meetings, they said, "Okay, we're going to find out." But there was a lot of people there. And so everybody says, "I want everybody to stand up." So everybody stood up. He goes, "Okay, everybody who's got 50 countries, sit down." And so some people sat down. And then anybody who's got less than 100, sit down. Then another 20% sit down. Anybody got less than 200, sit down. Then less than 250, and then 300. And pretty soon, after 300, there was like two guys standing. And they started to not argue, but they were saying, "Look, how many you got?" He goes, "I got 327, whatever the number was." And he says, "You got confirmation on all of them?" He goes, "Yes, sir." And it was just fun to listen to because these two guys have been really heavy duty HF.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to get 300. I'm a little bit over 200, I think. But, I don't remember exactly how many.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. My last count was around 100, but I haven't been spending enough time there to be doing much with it. And now's a bad time to start going heavy duty,
Yeah, Roger, Paul. Well, we'll hold you up back to net, KM for HQ.
Yeah, very good, Stan. It was Stan Kilo, Mike 4, Hotel Quebec Echo. He's over in just north of downtown Lebanon. Anybody else late check-ins?
KG4 CXC.
I'm sorry. I heard the KG4 and I didn't hear the last one.
CXC, Charlie X-Ray Echo.
Oh, there you go. How you doing, Chris?
Good. How are you, Paul?
I'm doing good. Your voice is clean and clear, but it's interesting. Your voice is almost, I'm not saying it's unrecognizable, but it doesn't have any unusual characteristics. I don't mean to say everybody else is unusual. It's just that yours is harder to identify.
I'm on a different radio, and I'm on, a little bitty antenna, so the signal's different and the microphone's different.
No, you sound fine. There's no question about how you sound. It's just you've got where are you from originally? I forget.
Tennessee.
Well, I'm telling you, your voice doesn't seem to have, well, I've talked to you quite a bit. I don't remember hearing any distinctives of a Tennessee accent, so you've somehow managed to clean those off. Well, I wipe them so that nobody knows you're from Tennessee.
Yeah, I tried my best. No, I just never did pick it up. I guess there wasn't a lot of the southern, accent in my family.
No, I understand. I'm not complaining. I wouldn't have guessed that. I read when I was in the military. I noticed that there were people from some parts of the country, and I wasn't one of them, that had when I listened to them, I said, I can't believe they're accentless. And I noticed most of those people seem to be from the West Coast, California, Oregon, Seattle, Washington. But from other part, well, maybe the middle country too, maybe Iowa or Nebraska is kind of not there either. But you know what I'm saying? It's that if you're going up to the Northeast, very distinctive. If you're going to the South, very distinctive. Go to you go to Texas, but some places just aren't distinctive at all.
Yeah, it's odd. I came out kind of neutral, I guess.
Well, for better or worse, you'll notice though, when in my travels, I noticed it too. Even though you may be in Boston, the people who are on television with the news, they don't sound like they're from Boston. They've got they stripped themselves of accent.
Yeah, it's like those singers over in England that they sound like Americans when they're singing, and then they don't talk like it. They talk like British people afterwards.
Yeah, same thing with those Australian actors. I didn't know they were from Australia until you hear them interviewed and you go, I can't believe he talks like that.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've seen a couple. I think one of the guys from Walking Dead had an accent. I was like, "Are you serious?"
I don't know how they hide it. It's just weird. It's just so interesting how they can completely mask that identity.
Maybe that's what I did when I was younger, and I just didn't realize it. Who knows, man? Well, I just want to get in here at the end and say 73 to you, and catch you later.
All right, very good. Caught me too quick. I was going to get a drink of water. All right, that was Chris, Kilo Golf 4 Charlie X-Ray Ecto, and he is in Donaldson, is that last I remember. Anybody else late check-ins, please come on? We're going to fall into the next category if I don't hear from somebody. All right, we're moving into the sandbaggers. Let's see, you got sandbaggers and who else? The lollygaggers and lurkers, the SDR donglers, the scanner listeners, the preppers, and the end time survivors. Anybody else from that category? Those categories. All righty, we topped out at 19 tonight, so it was a relatively slow night, but there aren't really any slow nights. 19 is a lot of people. And so I'll run down real quick. We don't want to forget Saturday's breakfast. It's at Courtney's there in the north end of Mount Juliet Road. Mount Juliet Road run, if you don't know this, it stops right at Lebanon Road. So it's just south of Lebanon Road, a quarter mile on the west side. Of course, we got the Huntsville Ham Fest, which is a week from Saturday. And we got the Cedars of Lebanon Ham Fest on the 24th. Of course, it's kind of tells where it is. It's at Cedars of Lebanon. And we don't want to forget tomorrow night's Aries Information Net on the Wilson County 147.105 and a 156.7 PL, and some plus offset. Any other check-ins before I close it up? Well, very good. Good to hear everybody on the air. It's a good night. It's all good. It doesn't matter. Like I said, I was just looking back to the messages from the first net, which was on the 24th of September of 2014, and I had nobody but me. And so I still count that as the first net since it was formally done. So it was just a one-person check-in, and now we're averaging, usually 20 and over. So it's just kind of funny how things work out. And it only took us 5 years to get there. All right, well, very good. Hope to hear you all on the air. You guys have a great night. K4PEW closing on that. Thanks, everybody.